Test. I know I just went live. I get it. I want to see if this gets out at all whatsoever. And I'm just going to give you a brief summary of the last video because when I hit, submit, when I was done filming, it got deleted. They held a highlight and I deleted that because I always delete their highlights. But when I went back to make the video not private and to make it public, it was deleted. And so it's discouraging, of course. And just a couple things. One is the only time my streams are really interfered with, my son is home. He is in the house. Yes, I'm very aware there are scrambling devices that can knock out your cell phone signal, your internet signal, pretty much anything. Almost like an EMF. And I've been made fun of for knowing that those real things exist. So real quick, what I went over was how there were already 2 periods of darkness and how these things appear to be cyclical, and how what happens in the sky doesn't just affect the earth, but it also affects us and our behavior. Yes, we do have free will, right? But sometimes you're more irritable, sometimes you're more affectionate, sometimes you're more loving. This seems to obviously turn people's hearts to stone, and compassion seems to go away. That is another video. We've talked about how the Hopi prophecies align with what we read in Revelation. We've talked about how Revelation kind of aligns or is parallel to the Quran. They want us to believe we're all opposites and opposing forces, but the prophecies are pretty much all the same. Even the Hindu speak of this as being the last age, the 4th age, and the Hopi agree with that. And fire is supposed to be what does things in this time. And I'm not a channel where I prep you for like survival in the forest or anything. I try to prep your soul and your heart and your mind, mentally and spiritually, for the times that we are living in and what I believe is going to continue to increase for a period of time. So I just wanted to summarize that there was a period, 2 periods, when this had already happened. Now that is what the deleted video went into, and it was actually a nice video. I liked it. The problem is that at the end I tacked on 2 ideas that I had for concepts for my next videos, and what they did was they deleted the video as soon as I posted it, and I screenshotted how many people had seen it. Because again, I'm testing this algorithm to see why my laptop doesn't seem to be working, but my phone is allowing me to get out. And I think this is a bigger problem, and it speaks to something that is happening in America. I think that a lot of our internet is on a loop, and I don't think we're getting actual real news from outside of America. I think we're kind of trapped on a sinking ship, and they just don't want us to know it yet. So, having said all that, there were 2 periods already in time. Hold on, I'm trying to open the link. There were 2 periods already in time when... Why is it see what I mean? Everything's giving me a problem. Are they erasing me finally? Thank you. Okay, so the other times when we already had times of darkness, when the sun was already darkened, was in 546, I believe. And again in 1816, they called that the year without summer. So you had a time period where there was no sun and one where it was the time of darkness. Let me just make sure the years. Yes. I find it interesting that 1816, it seems like whatever cyclical events happen, they seem to occur every 100 years. I kind of put a pin in the end of World War II and in the end of Spanish flu, and I go from there to try and determine what catalysts made these events occur, what were the true causes, because we read sanitized history, and that's what we're trying to investigate here, is how much of our history is true, what can we rely on. And so because the last video was deleted, I just want to give you a quick summary and do a check and make sure that this video posts. So this is kind of a test as well. So in 1816, they called it the year without a sun when Mount Tambora in the then Indonesia erupted. Okay, so you had that, and then you had the year of darkness, and this is two different time periods, and I just want people to know that these things have happened before. And again, this is a nice segue into what I'm going to talk about regarding the firmament. Okay, so it was called the volcanic winter, the winter of darkness, the year of darkness of 536. So the Bible also talks about the sun going dark, but again, a lot of people don't read Revelation right. That already happened, but they're saying it will happen again at tribulation again as well. Everything is an echo. It is a Fibonacci shell. It is a spiral, and there are dots along that shell. Think of those as the events. Patterns repeat, right? You do have free will. We all have free will. Patterns repeat. And the theory I have right now, it's a working theory, is that the creator maker allows this to happen for our own benefit so we can be refined, because we might not make the right choices the first time. So some people might have to go through a couple of times so that they are refined properly. That's just a theory I'm working on. But again, I'm only going live again because the last video was deleted, and I need to make sure from somewhere that they're posting. Otherwise, God asked me to do this. I legitimately will have to go out and just stop people and tell them, hey, everything's fake. Hey, what they're showing you on TV, that's not real. Hey, by the way, we already had a year of darkness. And hey, by the way, tribulation might have happened already. Like, that's the point I'm at with this as far as discipleship and apostling. Like, I cannot sit here and be censored like this when this is something God asked me to do. So that's why I went live again, is to see if this will stay up this time. So we were talking about the volcanic winter of 536, and then how everything repeated again in different parts of the world. Now, I'm also going to point to the fact that our controllers might well know when this time period is coming, and this is why most of them, I believe, have been using AI digital clones for years now, and they're already underground waiting for whatever it is to occur. When I say underground, though, I mean it parabolically and literally. When someone goes underground, it means they're no longer in the scene, right? They move, they retire, they're not seen by the public. Some people literally go underground, and some people just leave the public life. I believe that the controllers know we are going to have another cyclical event like this. But you'll say, well, Jen, is it nature or is it God? And I'll say it's both. It's God using nature towards, our refinement. But unfortunately here, struggle and suffering are a part of it, because without that, when joy does come along, when real love does come along, you'll know what it is. And also, what I'm seeing in my own suffering is, because our hearts are so cold in the society that we're living, in the way that we're living, and I don't mean even just everyday life, right? Just on autopilot, not caring for each other as we go about our day, not caring what happens to each other as we go about our day. It's all a refinement process for our heart. When you go through suffering, you understand it better, and then you are reluctant to put anyone else through that. And so, we're here to learn a lesson. So I believe both things are true. It is cyclical within our hearts, within humanity as a species, but it's also cyclical in the stars and in the planet as well. Now, the next video, what it's going to be about is, it's going to be about them using the firmament to deceive you, because what they talked about is how the volcanic ash turned the sun blue. I don't think it turned the sun blue. It just put the filmy stuff in the air, the sulfur, the dioxide, the barium. They can use, then, all that stuff will make pictures on a screen look 3D, okay? Think of the Las Vegas sphere, because that's what the next video is going to be about, is I'm going to show you. And again, I believe in angels. I believe in God, the creator maker. I believe that the demonic angels are in the water. So I do believe those things are real. At the same time, I believe that the controllers are kind of trying to trope us into the, and if you look into the way they're pushing biblical end times, it's not doctrinally correct. It's people who, again, are very superficial with everything and very materialistic with everything. So in the next video, we're going to talk about your discernment and how the firmament could be used against you. I always thought they didn't talk about the firmament to hide God, but now I know it's so that they could also use it as a weapon of control. They can use the firmament as a projector and make it look as if there's a war in heaven. So unless you're actually shaking hands with and giving dinner to and talking to alien beings, don't give your consent away. Don't just start doing things like it's the TV show V and you're just all on board with whatever the screen tells you because you see stuff in the sky. Do you see what I'm saying? It's bad enough that we let politicians who are actors tell us how to live and what to do. The world is a lot smaller than you think it is. Remember that. Okay, so I'm going to test this video and see if it posts, and I'm also going to test and see what big channel runs with my idea so that I know who's messing with my videos. But again, I only have the real problems when somebody else is in the house, and that's sad.